Hi there, I'm Phoebe Wilby, and I'm so sorry I'm not able to be with you today in the UK for my book signing. I'm actually at the other end of the world, so I'm down under in Australia at the moment, and have a broken arm. So, although travelling would be great, I don't really think it's a good thing to do with a broken arm. Certainly not that distance anyway. So, because I'm not with you, I'm just going to tell you a little bit about some of my books, and also read you a little bit from my actual debut novel. So, this book, Point of View, it's all relative really. This is the first collection of short stories that I did, and I guess almost title piece is called Point of View, and it was it's a fictionalized version of the events of September 11 with the Twin Towers in America. So what I did is I looked at some of the footage of the media coverage at the time, which touched me deeply, and I wrote something totally imaginary, but based on the feelings that I had, or that I would have felt that I would have had I been in that situation. So that's Point of View, and so there's a lot of other short stories in there as well. Okay, so the second book is called Time is of the Essence, and this one, as you can imagine, has time as its theme all throughout. There is no signature story, if you like, from that one, but there are a few stories in there, and also some essays that I did, particularly one which was when I interviewed a gentleman by the name of Eric Abraham. He was 101 at the time, and he was one of the surviving World War I veterans in 2001, when I was at uni, when I wrote the story, based on events that he told me about. So that's those two books. So the third one is kind of a memoir, but I guess in a way it's really like a travelogue, and it's called Always One Step Ahead of the Storm, an 8-year-old's Down Under adventure, and it is literally pretty much a blow-by-blow description of what my family did in 1974 when we travelled around Australia, and I was 8 at the time. So this is basically has ended up being like the plot, if you like, plotting exercise for my debut novel, which followed, and that is called Storms. And here it is. As you can see, it's quite a thick tome. So Storms is semi-autobiographical in that most of the events did happen. There are a few that I've embellished, a few that I've played down, and a few events that actually didn't happen at all. For example, if you read the book, get towards the end, you'll know that bit couldn't possibly have happened because my stepfather died when I was pregnant with my youngest daughter, who is now 27, and I did not have her during 1974. So, Storms opens with I guess an explanation of what had happened the year before. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the prologue. I just want to do a little bit of a shout out here to my daughter, Rachel. She painted the cover picture for me. What I wanted, of course, was a little girl in a yellow raincoat. And she added red gumboots, red wellies. And she did that because one time when we were trekking around Burrator, she got a foot stuck in the mud and lost one of her red wellies. So that's why we have got red wellies on what would otherwise have been a relatively plain dark cover with a yellow raincoat. Right, okay. So without further ado, this is the prologue. Oh, hang on, that was a broken arm. Let's do this again. Right, okay, so the Ryan family's 10,000-mile journey started with a trampoline. That year, 1973, the Ryan children were promised a trampoline for Christmas. They were destined for disappointment, but only had themselves to blame. They should have learned the lesson long ago. Things don't always go as planned. Australia lives at the bottom of the inhabited world. Instead of dreaming of a white Christmas, temperatures soar towards 40 degrees Celsius. Australian children look forward to spending the day at the beach, or in a pool, or having a water fight in the back garden. Their fathers down tinnies as they tend barbecues, and their mothers prepare the salads and desserts, sipping on their wine. But that wasn't the case the year the Ryan children looked forward to their trampoline. A series of storms and tropical cyclones named Annie, Beryl, Cecily, Inez and Lottie, to name a few, plagued the top half of Australia earlier that year. Some never made landfall, yet they dumped masses of water on the unsuspecting sunburnt country. The effects were felt everywhere, even further south, bringing copious floods of rain to places where, in living memory, rain had never before fallen. In Queensland, Cyclone Una visited just before Christmas, dumping even more water on the already soggy land. Only some of the storms were meteorological. Those that weren't were slowly building to a head in the hearts and minds of members of the Ryan family. On the surface, they were a happily blended family of 7. Friends and acquaintances saw what they wanted to see: a loving, hard-working breadwinner, a devoted wife and mother, and 5 well-behaved, happily adjusted children, ranging in age from the baby who was approaching his first birthday to the oldest who had celebrated her 10th 5 months before the story opens. But while Gary, the hard-working breadwinner, knew how to provide for his family's physical needs, he had no idea how to face the emotional needs. Lily was indeed devoted, but only to her children. The experience of the children differed depending on which side of the parental divide they belonged. Lily loved them all, and all felt loved by her. It was a different story for the older daughters. They had lost their father to an accident, and to put it delicately, a wicked stepmother isn't the only possibility when fairy tales are recreated in real life. It wouldn't take much for the emotional dams to burst, and when they did, the effects would be devastating. But what was the root cause of the devastation? Was the absence of a trampoline really the catalyst for all that followed, or was there something else at play? You can be the judge as I tell you my story within the context of my family's trip around Australia. I am Annie Ryan, and this is my story. Don't judge me too harshly. After all, I was only 8. I've grown up a bit since then. But this was the first door that opened me to the truth I now know. So that's the prologue. Hopefully that's given you a bit of a taster of the story to come, and I hope that you are enjoying yourself at the book signing today. And that's all from me now, except to say have a happy Christmas and lovely Christmas greetings to you from Australia. Bye-bye.